Okay, so we're talking a little bit about voice and articulation. We actually talked about articulation last week. Articulation is how you pronounce your words. And I'm saying that some of you probably need to work on that idea of articulation, okay? So today we want to just do some practice on voice, okay, voice. Okay, so what exactly is voice? Let me just go to my next slide here. All right, voice. Okay, so in terms of voice, what exactly we're talking about? We're talking essentially the quality of your voice, the sound. I mean, some people just have naturally pleasant sounding voices. Like radio announcers, certain people that you might hear on, on media. They really have naturally pleasant sounding voice. Now, we all can develop our voice to be as natural and as pleasant sounding as possible. Basically, your voice is created when you speak. It resonates in your head. Now, I have a bit of a cold today, and so my voice is a little bit different, and it doesn't sound as good as it should sound, okay? Because when you have a cold, your sinuses get in your head and nasal cavities, and so your voice doesn't resonate, okay? So the idea of voice is when you don't have a cold, you can let your voice resonate kind of all in your head, okay? It's kind of the idea of resonating. And the other thing is, it's important to speak loud enough. A lot of people depend too much on the microphone. You should be able to speak without a mic, okay? And I'm glad we don't have a mic here in the classroom, okay? But imagine that you're able to speak far to the end of a large room, okay? I told you in my first class that I used to speak like a mouse because I spoke so softly. And people in the back, even people at the front, they couldn't hear me because I spoke so softly. You may think that you're shouting, but sometimes in public speaking, you have to speak louder than your normal voice, okay? So again, it's pleasant sounding. Nasal is sometimes people who, if you hold your nose, you sound like nasal. You want to avoid that, okay? And I'm a little bit nasal today because of my cold, all right? So don't get too close to me. I don't want to pass my cold on to any of you. Okay, we already talked about enunciation or articulation. Refers to how you pronounce your words. Again, I told you last week, if you don't pronounce clearly enough, people have a hard time listening to you. I think it's men, right? Men, sometimes I think you got to work on your pronunciation, okay? Just pay attention to how you pronounce your words. And even though you may say, well, English is not my first language, or even though you may speak with an accent, you can still learn to pronounce words clearly, all right? So it's important you practice doing that, all right? And as I say, even people who are here still have problem with this idea of pronunciation, okay? All right, so one step of your voice, it's important to stay relaxed, okay? Sometimes, people like to do some, shoulder rotations, move their neck, just important to, just kind of move around, oftentimes before a speaking event, I often, I kind of do this, and I kind of roll my head, I turn my head this way, before an important speaking engagement. I often do that just to relax my my body and my vocal mechanism. So I do that before doing an important speech. Your mouth and jaw. Sometimes I might exhale, just to warm up my voice, kind of like singing, right? Again, no strain in the voice. So we should be able to project our voice without straining it. Sometimes you might hear people say, they strain their voice. You don't want to do that. And to avoid straining your voice, you have to make sure that you have enough breath coming from the diaphragm, from the center of your body going out. All right. So we don't want to tighten up our throat. Okay. Again, posture is important. Sometimes I know students sometimes have a tendency to maybe like stand on one leg, or they might kind of like move their feet. So it's important that you try to stand, and that's why I like in-person class, is you stand normally on both feet, okay, and try not to rock, okay. So again, it's important to stand with good posture, okay. your head up, shoulders back. Okay, back straight, no slouching. Don't round your shoulders. Imagine a string attached to your head, pulling you up. Stay relaxed, but don't tense up your body. All right. So again, a natural stance. You don't have to puff up your chest, but you don't slouch. But a natural upright stance. All right. Okay. So let's talk about breath. All right. I talk about the diaphragm. Okay. The diaphragm is the idea of there's a muscle in the center of your midsection. And when you exhale with the diaphragm moves down to fill up the air. Let me just show you. Okay, so upper chest area should not expand, because sometimes people, when you breathe, people sometimes breathe that way, but then you're not using your diaphragm. You're kind of just, trying to use your upper body. Okay, but what you want to do is breathe so your stomach expands. Now, I want everyone to give this a try. So I want everyone to stand up. Okay, everyone stand up. Okay. Now, put your hand on your stomach and breathe in. Do you feel your stomach going out? Can you breathe in a way to let your stomach expand? So not up here, but down here. You able to do that? You feel it? Anybody feel it? Yeah. That's the way you're supposed to breathe in speaking. So it's different than, let's say, if you're running and you're out of breath, you're kind of breathing up here, right? But in speaking, the diaphragm lowers, so it pushes out your stomach area, and then you can, and when you exhale and speak, diaphragm goes up. So that's why your stomach goes out. Okay. When I took a course at university called Training the Speaking Voice, and my professor had us all line up in front of the class, and I won't do this to you, but and he went around and he felt our stomachs. He said, breathe. And so he wanted to see if every student's stomach would expand. Okay, so I won't do that. I won't do that. But that's what my professor did in that course, Training the Speaking Voice. Okay, so if we learn how to breathe that way, we can learn to project our voice without strain. Okay, we can practice this here. I give you a little exercise. We're going to do this practice exercise. Suppose you need to get the attention of someone across the street. Okay, imagine you want to get the attention of someone across the street, and you need to shout, "Hey, you." Okay, but you got to say it louder, right? And so what we want to do is imagine you are seeing someone across the street, and you want to shout, "Hey, you." Okay, my friend just walked in. "Hey, you." You heard me, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to have you practice that in a minute. So you want to be able to say it without straining your voice. "Hey, you." So, or just say, "Hey." Try that. Let's practice. Okay. Min. Hey.
Hey, you.
Okay. Can you make it? I don't think the guy heard you. I don't think he got your attention. It's a crowded street. It's lots of people are it's busy, and you have to get his attention. Come on, do better.
Hey, you.
Better. Okay, Chris.
Hey.
Okay, even louder.
Hey.
Better. Exhale from the diaphragm. Hey. Hey. Good.
Hey.
Oh. I don't think that guy would hurt you. Try again.
Hey.
Okay, again. Force the air from your midsection. Hey, it's kind of like grunting out. Okay, try.
Hey.
Okay, work on it. Okay. Bend them up.
Hey.
Oh, I don't.
Okay.
Maybe you're a little bit shy. Try again.
Hey.
You work on it. Okay, and you try.
Hey.
A little better.
Yeah. Hey.
All right, better. Okay. So I think maybe women are perhaps a little bit shy, perhaps. But again, you can have a seat now. But again, the idea is try to pull your stomach out and force it out. Okay, and that's how we can learn to breathe from the diaphragm and we speak out so everyone can hear us. All right. So it takes a bit of practice, but I think you can, when you do it, you can become a very dynamic speaker. And you know, part of voice is we don't always have to speak loud, but we kind of speak softly, loud. It's a variation of voice, right? You know, you all heard of people who are monotone, right? He speaks a very monotone voice and we get so bored listening to him and he goes blah, 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 blah. We don't know what the guy's talking about. Or he's talking, but he talks in a very, you know, unanimated way, a very monotone voice. So what you want to do is develop a type of speaking where you can vary, speak loud and speak soft. And certain parts of your message you can emphasize. Sometimes you can emphasize by speaking louder, or you can kind of speak softer and say, this is very important. Listen up. Okay. See, this is how we emphasize points in our speaking. Okay. All right. So we can try this exercise here. Okay, we'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we get louder. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, so practice that. Again, that varying your voice. Sometimes you might speak at if you're emphasizing point, you may speak at a level 5, maybe sometimes a level 3. You know, the normal voice speech is maybe around 3, but sometimes you may want to speak down to the level 1. Because sometimes when we lower our voice, people perk up and say, oh, he has to say something. Okay, and so sometimes even speaking softer can get people's attention. All right. Okay. So again, vary the volume up and down. Don't be a monotone speaker. Okay. Okay. So anyway, we'll just try one of these phrases. All right. We did some of these last week. You know, we talked about tongue twisters. But again, we want to breathe in and say the phrase without taking a breath. So the first one is many men munch many melons. Okay, so let's say it together. Many men munch many melons. Okay, so were you able to say that without taking a breath? Yeah, so that's basically the idea. You know, we want to have enough breath to speak out our message. Okay, so that's all I want to say today. And we'll go on to the presentations. Let me just recording here.